Hello, freak bitches.
You know, which is what, and Mary goes to the manger. The animals are not in the manger, not at the. So there's secondary evidence for that. It's probably happened in the spring. That's
now,
right.
with the advent of commercial space travel, which seems inevitable. Seems inevitable, right?
Love your segues. Yes, okay.
Do you think that it's possible that maybe you could even offer up a flat Earth believer tour, where you take them, like at the very least, take them up to Alaska where it's light for 23 hours
flat
a day?
earthers calling into you? Is this
tweeting me constantly?
Really?
Tweeting me constantly. Yeah, calling me a sellout. I'm a sellout. I'm a round Earth sellout. Like as if there's some round Earth money.
Wow.
Yeah, like
you're on the payroll.
I'm getting some checks. I'm getting some round Earth checks
you're
to
getting
keep
some
the
payola,
nonsense going.
some round Earth payola for your show.
I'm sure you've seen the basketball player who graduated from Duke.
That was hitting the news the last couple of days.
And
I saw
he believes that dinosaurs are fake and that the world is flat.
Okay, so here's the thing, Joe. Okay, here I've thought about this.
I bet you have.
As an educator, I've thought about this. Okay. So here's what matters. All right, we live in a free country. People should be able to think whatever they want, whenever they want, provided it doesn't subtract away from someone else's rights. Okay. So thinking the Earth is flat doesn't harm anyone unless you want to run for office or you want some position of power over other people. That's when it's dangerous. I'm thinking of elevator banks where they have numbers. You know, I have a photo essay of what elevators look like inside. I know it's just.
You mean the gears? And
No, not even that geeky. Just what are the numbers on the panel?
Oh, without the 13, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So about 80% of buildings taller than 12 stories don't have a 13th floor. Okay, and so this trixidecaphobia is again in a free country. If you want to be afraid of the number 13, go right ahead. It just seems to me you should not be tasked with designing elevators if that's your fear. Find something else to do. Holding aside the fact that I'm a little scared that in this 21st century United States of America, we have people walking among us afraid of the number 13. What does that mean? I don't know in the long run. But if you keep to yourself, don't harm others, think whatever you want. So the rubber hits the road is you now have power over others. And that's where the failure of the educational system actually manifests.
Now, when you get in a debate with a guy like that
I don't debate
B.O.B. guy.
I don't debate people.
Okay, well, when you discuss,
because as the saying
educate,
goes, when an argument lasts more than 5 minutes, both sides are wrong.
Well, that's a terrible saying. It's
yeah,
definitely
it's mostly
someone
right.
wrong and the other person's stubborn. You know, it could definitely last for hours.
Yeah.
That's not true at all.
It's not. It's true 80% of the time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you got into it with that rapper that thinks that the
I'll tell you why, B.O.B. Because in his Twitter stream, he was saying he was invoking physics. And so I gotta deal with this.
Right. Yeah.
And so he showed a picture from Bear Mountain, which is a mountain in slightly upstate New York, where Manhattan is in the sight line of the summit of this mountain. And he says, given the curvature of the Earth and this formula, you should not be able to see Manhattan at all. Okay.
It depends on the height that you're viewing.
Well,
it from.
thank you. Well, so you do the math, and it turns out Manhattan, the island, would not be visible at all. That's true. But any building taller than 15 stories would rise up above the curvature of the Earth, and you will see it. And if you look at the photo, you see the tall buildings rising above 15 stories. It's exactly what the correct formula shows, and not his formula, which was wrong and misinterpreted, claims to show.
Well, it's just bizarre because snipers have been using the literal curve of the Earth to plan where bullets go. That's
if
how
they
you
want it that
plot
precise.
out.
Oh,
When you have to. When you shoot at a mile, you know, when you're shooting like well out over 1,000 yards, those factors.
So let me think. A mile. I have to ask, how much curvature of the Earth do you get after a mile? It's an
you also
interesting
get drop.
question.
You get drop and curvature.
That'd be gravity drop.
Yes.
And then curve. Yeah. So both of those. Yeah.
Well, there's a good. Well, here's the thing to say, someone. If you have a bullet in your hand and you shoot a gun, which bullet drops faster?
Right.
They
generally they get the wrong answer to that.
they drop at the exact same rate.
They'll hit the ground at the same time.
Exact same time, and that blows people's minds. They can't believe that's.
But
a
we
fact.
do that in Physics 101. It's a physics demo. So that's why physics is so important. People say, "Oh, let's take biology and this." Great, but don't leave out the physics, because that's where the fundamental operations of nature are to be found, of the physical universe are to be found. So what you have is you have a gun at one side. It's like a thing that shoots out a projectile. I don't want to call it a gun. At one side of the stage, and then you have like a little stuffed animal at the other side of the stage, held up with an electromagnet at the top of its head. And these two are exactly the same level. As the projectile comes out from this mini cannon, it trips an electric circuit that releases the electromagnet at the top of the stuffed animal. The stuffed animal begins to fall. The bullet moves horizontally, but also falls, because gravity is pulling them both. And you watch the projectile curve down, you watch the stuffed animal curve down, and it hits the stuffed animal every single time.
The only factor that would change that would be if you put wings on the bullet and it was dealing with the wind.
Wings.
Right?
Yeah, wind would affect it.
Yeah.
Do they have bullets with wings? I haven't seen that.
No, they don't.
Okay.
No, but if they did.
Yeah.
If like you shot the bullet and then they figured out like clink and wings came out.
I
then it
saw
would
that
ride
on
the
some
wind.
James Bond movie, I
Probably.
thought.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got to be frustrating for you when these things come back around. Like there was no flat earth theory when I was in high school. So
there were
how the
other
hell...
things, though. Think about it. When you were in high school, there was much more astrology going on.
Oh, yeah.
The President Reagan.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Nancy Reagan had
that
an
all
astrologer. So today, you don't see much of it.
Unless you talk to Steve Maxwell.
Well, but it's still there. It's just not. It's not manifesting in public policy.
Some people believe in it deeply.
I agree, but it's not up there in public policy. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, Nancy Reagan was really the only one that made it public policy.
Sure,
wasn't
but
she?
but at the bar, do you hear people saying, "What's your sign?"
Oh, hell
Is that
yeah.
still a pickup time?
Oh, hell
Still?
yeah. 100%.
No, let it not
Especially,
be true.
Listen, dude, you're married.
On Tinder,
and
I know
you're
I've been
an
married,
older
so
man.
I'm out of it.
You don't
Excuse me.
understand. If you want to get laid, you got to talk nonsense to people.
Got to talk
Well,
smack.
I'm a Scorpio. And if you're a Taurus, we should just stop talking
Okay, so I missed that. I misled myself. I thought it was fading.
Oh,
but
get
but Nancy Reagan was the big proponent.
Well,
at
yeah,
the
but
time,
it's nonsense astrology now. It's not like someone who really understands astrological charts and can plot it, and the moon's in retrograde, and you were born on, Celsius is rising, and all that crazy crap that they tried. I don't know what they're doing.
I was on a talk show with an astrologer.
A real one?
Apparently, yeah. She's a real one or a fake one, right?
How do you know?
She says she's real.
Okay.
And I trust her because she talks about how fake other astrologers are.
Oh,
so
she's a hater.
No.
She's a hater. Don't trust her.
And she was saying that the Kennedys all died during a lunar eclipse.
Oh, scary.
And that this is a very checkable statement. She just says this, and everyone's listening and believing, and said, "Wow, that can't be by accident." Well, I don't know when other Kennedys died, but I know when Jack Kennedy died, and it was November 22nd, 1963. So I don't need to know if there's an eclipse then. I just need to know what phase the moon is in.
Right.
Because you can only have a lunar eclipse when the moon is full. So the moon was nowhere near full. It was like 2 weeks away from full. Even if there was an eclipse, it didn't happen during an eclipse, is my point.
Right.
Okay? So...
Of course, because it was daylight.
Well, no, you can have a lunar eclipse at any time. Okay?
Yeah, you can. Solar
You can have a solar eclipse at any time, too. It's just not for you.
Dark.
It's just not for you.
Right.
It'd be for the other
Somewhere
side of
else
the
in
Earth.
the world.
Right. Don't be so centric. In fact, when there's a lunar eclipse, anyone on the side of the Earth that sees the moon will see the lunar eclipse. So, by the way, lunar eclipses, you get several per year, by the way, partial eclipses as a minimum. And every couple of years, there's full lunar eclipses. So these are not rare things to start. They're not rare, okay? So I said, he was shot when I forgot what moon it was, a first quarter moon. And she said, "Oh, well, this counts if they're anywhere within 2 weeks on either side of the eclipse."
What? That's a month.
That's a month out of 12. What? So I said, let me just shut up here and let her keep. It was a.
What did she
say? We were
say?
sharing the time. It was Pharrell had a talk show. We were both on Pharrell's talk show. So, and he likes science, by the way. And he wore a NASA shirt at the Academy Award group photo. I got to give him some props for that. But So, so I just say I have nothing more to say here. Hence, my argument with her lasted less than 5 minutes.